I was taking a break from my regular work activities and having my signature giant cup of tea this afternoon, and I just thought I would put together a video about what I see women who are doing really good things with their money or have accumulated some wealth, what their common traits are. And I thought I would share this with you and maybe even just a couple of to-dos or things that you might want to think about if you are also aspiring to amass some wealth and how you might think about it. So the first thing that I see women who have money and are using money and are, let's use the word wealthy, even though I think that's sometimes a charged word, they see money as a tool. What I often have clients think about is I want your money to be another family member, right? That family member needs to participate in the household and do its chores. And what I see women who really want to amass wealth and have money do is they think about money as creating opportunities. They think about it as building their security. So there's like a freedom and security component to how they think about money. And they also want to be able to expand their particular impact on the world. So that could be a charity. It could just be putting their kids through college. It could be helping their parents out as they get older. It could be any number of things, but they want to be able to have an impact on the lives of people around them. And so what they want their money to do as a tool, as a family member, is to participate in that, be around to create the opportunities, be around to provide that security, provide that freedom, to provide that ability to have the impact on their families. So I would have you think about your relationship with money, and is your money a family member? And do you expect it to do certain chores? And what are those chores? And how do you keep that money accountable? And how do you think about it? So that's one trait that I see. The next trait that I see is that women who have a strong relationship with money and want to accumulate it, they invest in themselves. They either hire a coach, they find mentors, they take care of their mental health, they take care of their physical health. They know that their own well-being translates into their financial well-being as well. It allows them to make more money, ask for that raise, do a better job at work, be a better family member themselves. They just know that when they are well, other things in their lives are well. So I would have you think about, and I don't want to come at this from a sales perspective, because Lord knows I've had this, when people have looked at me and said, well, Jessica, if you invest in this coaching program, if you invest this $10,000, what might be your return on investment? That drives me nuts. But I do want you to think about, okay, when was the last time you got a massage? When was the last time you reached out and found a mentor? When was the last time you hired a coach to get you over a particular sticky point in your career or your personal life? When was the last time that you decided, I'm not going to pay for this because it seems like too much money, rather than thinking about what you might get as a result from it. So that's my thought for you. The third thing that I'd have you think about is, are you taking calculated risks? So the women that I work with, again, just strong women or care a lot about their well-being financially. One of the things they do is they take calculated risk. And sort of in conjunction with this, they recognize that they want their money to be making money for them. Their money should be working for them. So one of the things that's really interesting, I think, is that women are actually better investors than men, which people often find quite surprising. The pieces that I've seen validated in my practice are these. I see men feeling or expressing more confidence in their knowledge about money in the markets than women. I can't tell you how many times women in a couple or singles will say in our meetings, I just don't feel comfortable with money. I don't feel comfortable with numbers. I don't know why I've been saving all this money in my 401k. I just don't really get it. This doesn't really feel real to me. I look at my balances on my account, but it just doesn't feel real. I had a woman say to me, I want to Marie Kondo my money, right? Like, I don't really want to love it and enjoy it. I just want somebody else to handle it, which I thought was great. But it was a recognition that she wanted her money to do well for her, but she wanted somebody else to help her with it. But when I talk about women seeing money as wanting it to make money and to take calculated risk, when they come into a relationship or a conversation about money and they're already feeling like they are lacking confidence or underserved or any of these things, they tend to compensate, right? So one of the things they do is they get more measured about their decisions. They just pace themselves better. They do a lot more research, right? They just think about things more. They tend to be less impulsive, and they look at investing as a long-term exercise. It is a long-term horizon that they're looking for. And so as a result, because they are just more measured and do their research and think about things long-term, they tend to have less investment activity. In other words, they're not buying and selling a whole lot. Men tend to buy and sell a lot more. They have way more activity in terms of their investments than women do. And as a result, and this is proven year in and year out in that Dalbar study, which I so often refer to, is that because there's emotions built into it, men tend to do a little bit worse than women when it comes to investing. And that's true in the Dalbar study. They show this every year, that investors on their own, men or women, tend to do worse than if they were working with a professional or were hiring somebody to manage their money for them. So it's not particularly surprising. But this is one of the reasons that I think women are better investors. They're just more thoughtful. They're a little bit more conscious about their decisions, and they look at this long term and they do their research. And these are all things that work in our favor as women that I would have you think about. So if you are feeling like, oh, I just don't have confidence around money and I just don't know how to manage this, I want you to, first of all, give you more credit than you are giving yourself, because I think you know more about money than you are admitting. And as a result of perhaps feeling this underconfidence, how does that work to your advantage? And how might you do more research or be more measured or take some action that perhaps you've been putting off? The last thing that I see that women with wealth or who are building wealth do is they level up all the time. And when I'm thinking about this, I'm really thinking about their careers, but they also, friendship wise and just in their social circles with colleagues, they will level up on a regular basis. So by that, I mean they surround themselves with other people who are successful and strong and mindful and do good things with their money. And they are sharing thoughts and ideas among themselves to level up their game. And this is true with my self-employed women in particular, right? They go out and they find women business organizations that they can join so that they can learn from those other women and have a safe space to do so. And they accelerate their growth phenomenally. And so that's what I see, whether it's in business or whether it's personal. These women are finding other women to talk to about money and about financial well-being. And they learn things like, you should know, even if your husband or your partner, who might be a woman, is managing all the finances, you need to know the passwords, you need to know the state of your household finances, you need to know how the money's being spent, you need to be an active participant in what's going on financially. So many times when I'm working with divorced women, they'll say to me, yeah, I might like to be partnered again someday, but I will never give up my financial independence. That person is going to have to be able to pull their weight financially as well. I think that's where this comes from. It is this desire to understand and know and have a relationship directly with their money. And that is what helps them be financially more secure and wealthy and to continue to grow their wealth. The last thing that I want to say about this is that this sounds like I'm really only talking to career women or women who run businesses. And yes, that's true. And a lot of the women that I work with or that I know who have done very well financially without inherited wealth have taken time off to raise babies. They've taken time off to take care of aging parents. They have taken jobs that have paid less, at least at the beginning. They have started out businesses on a bootstrap, right? They've taken particular risks along the way. I think they are also acutely aware that through their lives, they are going to have to manage their money and their financial well-being differently because they're going to live longer. They're likely to have chronic illnesses that they're going to have to manage over their lifetimes. They just know that these things are coming, or they just know that these are possibilities in their lives that might happen, and they are prepared to be ready for that. It's really about mindset and how your relationship with money is and how you want it to be and how you move toward that. And I think there's many things that you can do and people that you can talk to and mentors that you can identify to help you move your financial well-being along, manage your career as strongly as you can, amass wealth, build wealth, get that family member to do its chores, bring you opportunities, bring you that freedom and that security that money often represents for so many of us. And expand your impact in the world as well. Sometimes people believe that people with lots of money do horrible things. I've seen people with lots of money do a lot of beautiful things. If you started out as a jerk and then you get a lot of money, you kind of stay a jerk. But if you start out as a good soul and you end up with a lot of money, you tend to stay a good soul. That is at least my experience. I'm Jessica Lanning. Lanning does planning.